Hey guys, what's going on? Anderson here, and today you guys are about to venture out on an exciting adventure. You are going to make these weird strawbird thingies. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, and I'm going to show you guys how to do this in this video. This is a really super fun activity. It demonstrates and models natural selection super duper well, and you get to do basically some arts and crafts with this whole thing. So this will be a good time. I'm going to show you how that is in a second. But just talking about natural selection a little bit, you guys don't know officially what natural selection is quite yet. But I always like, as you've probably noticed before, I like having you do activities where you're not 100% comfortable with the material quite yet, because the hope is that you guys will work with the material. You guys are going to work with these strawbirds, and then in the hopes that you're going to develop some sweet memories with whatever material we're talking about. So you're going to remember this strawbird activity. You're going to be like, wow, I didn't really know what I was doing. I kind of get this activity a little bit. It's fun to make these things, but how does the whole process work? So hopefully you get to experiment with the whole process in a little bit. And then the hope is that you guys will make some fond memories of whatever sort of subject that we are doing. So we're talking about these strawbirds. We're talking about natural selection. Guys, I can't stress enough, you're really in kind of the crux of biology right now. We just got done with genetics. And with genetics, we're going to use some genetics topics to move into evolution, which is our big overarching unit. And then in evolution, there's a couple different things we'll talk about, but natural selection is what you're working on right now. It is such a powerful idea, you guys. I can't stress that enough. So just to model natural selection a little bit, we can use some made up thingies. This is Shredder. He's my pet, Shredder. Say hi to everybody. Hi, Shredder. Okay. Intro's over. Shredder is obviously something I created. This is a little clay thing. Shredder is part lamprey. You can see from his mouth, he's got those lamprey teeth. He has one eyeball, so that's not very good for Shredder. He lost it in a fight of some kind. He's got alligator legs. He's got these really thick, muscular legs that come out from the side. Alligator legs come out from the side of their body, not like straight out underneath them, like walking legs. These are really powerful legs. And then he's got a sweet shark tail. So, Shredder. This is Shredder. And if we're talking about natural selection, natural selection is the idea that traits are being selected naturally by mechanisms with nature. The organisms that are being selected are the more favorable organisms with the more favorable traits. And if you hear the word traits, you should think a little bit about genetics, which is great, because that's kind of what evolution is. It's a lot of population genetics, which we won't get into deeply here, but you can bet that it has something to do with how an organism survives best. Now, if I put Shredder in an environment where there's water, he's probably going to do well because he's got some traits that are selected to be very favorable in that sort of environment with water, right? Let's put him around a river where normal alligators hang out. He has to breathe water because he's got little gills. I don't know if you can see that. He's got little gills here. That's the lamprey body. So he's a water dweller. He swims around, right? Or walks around, and he does his own thing, much like an alligator will walk around and do their own thing, right? He's got these legs. So if I pluck him in a water environment, he's going to do really well because he's got a bunch of traits that favor that sort of environment. If I put him in the tundra, right? If I put him in Canada and just plopped him there and say, here's some water, but it's really super cold, he's probably not going to do so well, right? He doesn't have very many traits that are selected to be favorable in that environment. So Shredder himself might do okay, and he might be able to find a mate and reproduce here and there, but in the long run, he's going to lose out. He's not going to reproduce as often as organisms with traits that are more favorable to his, right? So Shredder, if we put him in a place where he's going to do well, he's going to thrive, and he's going to become naturally selected to do well in that environment. Now, let's go to your thing that you're going to work on today. I just want to intro the Strawbird activity a little bit. All of the stuff for Strawbirds is found in the front lab bench of my room. So you can find all the paper, scissors, tape, what have you. There are these yellow ones. These yellow pieces of paper are the just ones that I've pre-cut to be the parent bird. We're using the bird loosely today, right? We're not making real birds. We're making these weird origami things. But you can bet that they fly, and they can fly really far if you make them well. So all of you have to make a parent bird. So let's start there. Here is a paper strip. What you do with these guys is in the directions, and for sure you're going to have to read the directions. I'm not going to explain everything. All you do is loop your piece of paper. In the directions, it says, to be really specific, you overlap the piece of paper by 1 centimeter. Just get as close as you can. 1 centimeter, loop. Now, I'm going to take another piece of tape. And I was holding this up before. Here's your straw bird. It's not quite done yet, though, right? Not quite done yet. What these things are made of is there are 2 things. There's 2 round pieces of paper. As you progress through this activity, when you start, all of you, 100% of you, are going to have this exact bird I'm holding. And all we're going to do is you just use a bunch of tape in this activity. All you got to do is tape the wings to this straw. Tape the wings to the straw. Doesn't have to be pretty. It'll still fly. So here you go. Here's your parent bird. Parent bird. The parent birds have 2 centimeters, They have 2 centimeter wide wings, and they're about 3 centimeters from each end. 3 centimeters from each end. Okay? Now, all of you are going to start with this, and you're going to throw this bad boy. Where do you throw them? Do you throw them, just go, I don't know, woo, and just throw them in the room? No. I have set up the actual Strawbird Speedway out in the hallway. Right outside my door, there's a huge tape sort of strip area. There's like a start line on the ground. So make sure you guys check that out. And that's where you're going to throw these things, out in the hallway. Don't throw them in the room with people. Throw them out in the hallway is to your heart's content, right? But I have here the handout that you guys have. Obviously, this is a scanned thingy, but I really like this activity a lot because it models really super well evolution, or excuse me, not evolution, but natural selection. And natural selection happens around us all the time, you guys. It's happening in your gut right now. You have all kinds of gut bacteria in your gut, and those guys are being selected, and they're living things inside of you. They live mostly in your colon, and they're being selected, the ones that are more favorable to live there. They're reproducing more often. They make more offspring that are like them. So they, in the long run, are going to be more successful. And the ones that aren't slowly just kind of fade out of existence. And that's what we call extinction, right? Natural extinction. Not like a meteor smashes them, but really fluidly natural extinction. Okay, so all other things you're going to need in this activity, you guys, you're going to need penny, a die, which are also at the front of the room, because this is where the part of natural selection comes in. You guys are going to be using random mutations, and you're going to introduce random mutations with your Strawbird. Now, your random mutations, as we're looking on this handout here, let's see if I can do this. Oh, yeah, here we go, nice and big. The random mutation that you guys are doing, and you're going to deal with our wing position. So you're going to move the wing forward or backward, which is going to be all determined by this dice. Heads or tails for the penny is going to be determining which wing it is. So if you flip a heads, for example, if you flip a heads, it's going to be the anterior or front of the bird, front of the bird. And if you flip tails, it's going to be the posterior one. Then you're going to roll a die, and you're going to introduce some randomness into your experiment. So it has to do with the circumference, the actual circumference of the piece of paper, or the width of the piece of paper. Right now they're at 2 centimeters, but some of you are going to end up with huge fat pieces of paper on the front or back of your birds, which I think is hilarious. So make sure you use the die, read these things and make sure you introduce the right mutation. And you guys are going to spend a lot of time, which is why I give you 2 days. You're going to spend a lot of time creating your birds, right? You're going to spend a lot of time cutting out these pieces of paper and actually physically messing with it. So that's why I give you 2 solid days to get this bad boy done. So you're going to use a penny, some dye. You're introducing random mutations, right? Mutations should make you think of genetics. You betcha is genetics. But where the actual biology and natural selection comes in is, are those random mutations favorable? Are those random mutations going to be selected as favorable traits for your environment? And the environment that our birds are is, how far are they going to fly? Is your random mutation going to make your bird fly farther or not so much farther? If it flies farther, that's selected to be the more favorable trait, and your bird is going to reproduce and pass on those favorable traits, right? You don't see 2-foot tall people walking around on Earth, probably because bigger is better when we're talking about size for us, for our species, right? So this is the whole idea of natural selection. Fundamentally, it's not a really tough idea, but you guys are going to practice it. You got to know this stuff. This is so essential for biology. I can't stress that enough. This is the number one thing that we need to understand. If we don't understand this process with natural selection, being selected and favored in certain environments for animals, how do they pass on their traits? Why do they pass on their traits? Why is these organisms over here, these organisms over here? It's really hard to figure out what's around us if we don't understand this basic idea. So make sure you read these directions, you guys. All of the materials are at the front lab bench. If you have questions, please let me know, and have fun throwing your straws around, all right? Anderson, out.